Hello. I am making thumbnails right now for the playlist stuff, and I'll be answering questions that people sent in. So this is not a guide, this is a random video of questions and stuff. So this is gonna be the last one of the question and answer series. Okay. Favorite Final Fantasy XIV X-Spec? I would say I enjoyed Endwalker the most. And it's mostly because that's around when I really started getting involved in the community. And so, like what I mentioned in the other video, my last video, I like creating my own stories and stuff with people. And so around when Endwalker came out, I was actively doing a lot of things with others and being social and learning more about the social aspects of the game, and by then I was a more confident and competent player, and so it just felt a lot nicer during that time period. But in terms of story, if that's what you're asking for the expansion, I would probably still say Endwalker, mostly because I didn't enjoy the other ones as much. Like, I didn't feel that invested in the stories that much. I feel like by the time I got to Shadowbringers, I was like, oh, the writing is picking up. I'm starting to, I like the way that they're writing this stuff, but I didn't feel as like moved and touched by the story as I did by the time I got to Endwalker. And so, yeah. Also, I'm just like a very curious person in general, right? And so I like it when I get answers to questions. And because Endwalker was all about wrapping up like this entire story thing, like I felt more satisfied that we were getting concrete answers to things. Okay, next question. How long have you been playing, and when? How did you start? I have been playing for about 4 years or so. I started in 2019. My roommate and I went to PAX, and they were advertising Shadowbringers there. And they had this thing where if you played a trial, then you could get a t-shirt and like a key or something for a free trial. And my roommate really wanted to do it, and I was just like, I don't know, dude, I don't know how to play these MMO games. Are you sure it's gonna be okay? It was a whole situation. We waited in line, and the girl and guy behind us, like, they were a couple, and it kind of seemed like they were a little, like, a bit in a bad mood. And so I was like, I hope we don't get paired up with them, because I'm already kind of nervous. I don't know what I'm doing. I've never played like this type of thing before. And then we ended up getting paired with them to be in a party. And the volunteer like booth person was like, all right, so who wants to play what? And immediately the girl was like, I have to be the tank. I'm going to be the tank. And I was just like, okay, sure. And then my roommate was like, I want to be blah, blah, blah. And then the other dude was like, I want to be blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay, I don't know what else there is to play. What's there to play? And then the lady was like, you'll be the healer. And I was like, is that hard? And then she was like, no, you'll be fine. And then my roommate was like, actually, it might be kind of hard. Do you want to switch with me? And I was like, no, you were really excited to do this, so I want you to play what you want to play. I'll just figure this out. And then so they brought us to the booth with the controllers and all these things. And I picked up the controller, and I was like, what do I do? And the lady was like, so yeah, you'll just, here's a striking dummy, and you can just like try out some of your moves, like here, like it's on the screen here. And I was like, no, I have more questions. How do I move my character? What button does what? And she was like, here, if you just look at the hotbar, like it will show you that you click this for this and this for this. And then she like walked away, and I was like, I looked at my roommate and I was like, dude, there's 2 of these joysticks. how do I move my character? One of them is making everything spin, like the camera, and the other one is just making me, I don't know what is this. So I was like panicking a lot, right? And he was like, oh yeah, it's okay, it's the opposite, it's the reverse, right? Okay, so we have to he knew that I needed to change the camera, to invert it. I didn't have the vocabulary back then, but I was just like, it's not doing the thing. Can you do the thing with the camera that you do when we're at home and like make it so it's not weird? And then he was like, yeah, I don't know how to do the UI on this. So we were trying to figure it out, right? And then the lady was like, okay, great, we're gonna key you guys into the trial. And I was like, what the fuck? No. And then the tank girl was just like, you know, I don't know, just I don't know how to describe it, but her attitude was just really intimidating. And like whatever she was saying to her friend slash boyfriend or other person she was with, I just felt like she was mad. And so I was like, I don't want to make her more mad, and I'm gonna try to just heal. Okay, sure, that's what I have to do. And so I stared at the hotbar and I was like, okay, this color looks like this color on the controller, and so I'm gonna click on this one. Okay, it looks like I cured. Okay, so I cured myself. Okay, so how do I... And then I figured out how to move the thing to target the tank. And then I was just like, all right, I'm just gonna stand in the back and I'll just throw heals out and it'll be fine. And so we get into the fight, and I think it was either Titan or Ifrit. So the naval or the... dang, what's Ifrit's fight called? Oh my goodness. I'm gonna look it up, but then by the time I figure it out, by the time I find it, I'm just... Ifrit, what's your fight called, bruh? The Bowl of Embers. By the time we get in there, like the tank's running, my roommate and the other dude's running, and I'm just in the back. It must have been the Bowl of Embers because the stage didn't fall. It was just on fire or something like that. I don't know. But I know that I didn't move my character at all. I didn't move my character, and I didn't move my camera. I just stood in the back, and then I just threw Kiers out. And so the girl tank must have moved the boss closer to me or something like that, now that I'm thinking of it, because I'm not sure if I could have reached her if it was that far, but at the same time it was like a very early fight, and so maybe it could have. And after what felt like an hour but was probably just, 5 minutes, they're like, you did it! And I was like, okay, can we go now? I was panicking so hard, and my roommate was like, dude, you were great at healing. And I was like, was I? I didn't move at all. And he was like, yeah, oh wait, you didn't dodge all this stuff? And I was like, I did not move any of the joysticks, okay? And I don't know if I was healing myself or healing other people. I was just clicking the green button the entire time, and I just, okay, so we're good. And he was like, yeah, let me go get the code and then we can go. And so we got the code, and then like we just kept walking. We walked to some other, like, I wanted to just hang out in some soft chill place, and I think we ended up at the Pokemon booth with some plushies. And so then we I recouped there, and then my roommate was like, are you okay? And I was like, yeah, I'm fine. He was like, you're really good, we should totally play, we got 2 codes. And I was like, okay. And then like a few weeks later, he was coordinating with his friends to play it, and then it was like with 2 other people, and so they had 3 people. And then they were like, come on, you should play with us and be our healer. You were really good. We need 4 people for a party. And I was like, oh, okay, it was kind of a lot, but I will give it a try. Just because, I want to play with you guys, sure, and like help out. I love helping out in general. I'll put myself through this. And at the time, I was really into learning how to sew, like in real life. I was learning how to sew and like tailor things. And so my roommate was like, you can be a crafter. You can go to the Weavers Guild. And I was like, I can be a weaver? And so I played the game so I could be a weaver. I was a weaver main. for about a year. I only progressed in the story so that I could go collect cotton balls and like mistletoe and rainbow cotton and things like that. And when our trial ended, I was like, I can't go above level 50 Weaver. I need the next expansion. They say that I can get the mistletoe and like the rainbow cotton ball in the Ishgard area. So can we buy the game? And it was just like 2 in the morning. My roommate's like, yeah, dude, just do it. It's fine. And so I did all that, and then I was very upset that I finally like made it through the thing, but there was all this like, I don't know, I didn't want to do the patch content for A Realm Reborn, and I was like, I just want to get to Heavensward, and so I skipped all of the patch content to get into Heavensward. I had no idea like how any of it worked. I just knew I wanted the new map area in the snowy place because that's what the internet said. That's where they said I could get these special cotton balls, right? And so I skipped through the thing, got to Heavensward, and then I realized I couldn't go to places because it was blocked off. And then I woke up my roommate again, and he was like, you have to progress in the main story. And I was like, got it! So I progressed through the main story. I was playing White Mage. And I was just like, they're making me go to a dungeon again. I just want to get the missiles. And so eventually I buckled down and did the story just so I can unlock the map areas. And then that's when I was like, oh, I guess the story's not that bad. Okay, maybe I'll just like enjoy the story a little bit. And then eventually when I collected my ingredients, I just went back to weaving, and then I kind of that was kind of my system. Anytime I felt blocked as a weaver, I would continue the main story, and then eventually, once I maxed out all my crafters, I was like, I guess I could go do other things, like learn how to be another type of healer or learn how to be a tank, I guess. Well, it was more like I was waiting for my roommate and his friend to like catch up in the story, because I had progressed so much in the story that I for my own means, so that I could be a crafter, that they needed to catch up, so then we could do like some fights and stuff together. And so that's when I picked up the other jobs, and that's how I started playing the game. Okay, favorite Final Fantasy 14 characters. Myself, like my own character. I like my characters a lot because of the stories that I've made for myself. But if you mean like characters that the story itself has created, I would say I like Emmett. I just like his attitude and kind of straightforward way of speaking. And yeah, I'll go with Emmett. If you like the lore, what's your favorite thing about it? I wouldn't say I like the lore that much. Like I've been saying, I like the stories I make for myself while I play the game. But something that I appreciate through just knowing about game design in general and game development, like I know how difficult it can be to like start a thing and then it does well, and then you kind of have to add more to it, but maybe at the beginning you didn't think you would have to expand it that much. So I can respect and appreciate how they tried to expand the worlds and then like give answers to things that were kind of tidbits that you saw at the beginning of the story, even though sometimes it doesn't land very well. Like clearly they made up this entire thing because someone drew this little thing in the corner of this thing. Like, I think that type of story is cool in the development standpoint, but in the actual execution of it, sometimes it kind of just like is a miss. But I feel like overall they've done a pretty good job at that. And so I like how I know there's a lot of debate over whether the story is actually good. There's like so many plot holes and all those things, but if you don't get into too much detail with it, if you don't break it apart and get pedantic and break apart all the semantics and all the things, which is what I enjoy doing, which is why I have to back it up. Like, if you back it all up and generalize everything, I like the cohesive, like, we're wrapping it all up after, all these expansions, and then we're gonna do a whole new thing. Like, I think that's cool, because whether the story itself is good or not, that's a subjective thing, but what's impressive is after so many years, they stay dedicated to this idea, and they try to stay true and execute it. Whether they did it well or not, I can appreciate the perseverance and kind of the determination to not let go of an idea and try to explore it and see it through and try to satisfy so many different types of people who are going to be consuming this media. So that's what I like about it. So from a development standpoint, that's what I like. I hope that makes sense. What other games, media do you like? I think I kind of already answered that in the other video, like the Animal Crossing, Harvest Moon series and things like that. I like games that let me pick what I do. I like media that allows me to accrue knowledge and explore ideas. I don't like always just being told things. It's like the whole show don't tell thing that people say. So yeah. Worst experience in Final Fantasy 14, or if you have any drama stories. Okay. A lot of it is obviously subjective and situational. I think sometimes when I'll give two answers. The simple answer is this one time I was fate farming by myself during this event, and it was chill. I was just doing my own thing. This dude like flew down and just started slapping me, and I was a sprout, so it was pretty. I took a long break from the game, and then I came back to the game after, I don't know, like 6 or 9 months or so, but I was still relatively new, and so to be trying my best to like do a fate by myself, I was like level 60 or so. And then to have this like dude fly down, like literally I was on an island. He flew down very specifically towards me and just started slapping me like constantly. Like, and then like I walked away, and then he kept following me and slapping me. Like, that was a really bad experience, and it was like one of my first negative experiences, and so like it affected me a lot. So that's kind of the more tangible, straightforward answer. But I would say I've had other negative experiences, but it wasn't specifically because of the game, but it happened revolving around the game. But I don't consider them worse experiences in that it's like the worst thing that's ever happened to me. It's more like they became a lot more real. Like, it became situations that turned negative because it started affecting real life. And I think those things need to be taken care of with a lot more consideration than it's just a video game. Because when you're playing an MMO that then turns into becoming friends and connecting with other real life people, when you're building friendships, relationships in general, and connecting with others, you are sharing time and space, and that requires respecting other people in their time and space, and their emotions, and their well-being, and all this stuff. And I think if people end up taking advantage of that, then it can turn very sour. I think if people downplay real life conflicts and social conflicts and say, well, it's just a video game, so you shouldn't be hurt, I think that can really affect people in a negative way. And so through the course of my time playing this MMORPG, I don't remember what it's called, but Final Fantasy XIV, I have explored so many different communities, and I have met so many different types of people, and therefore I have gone through a lot of different types of social experiences, and I feel like I have grown a lot from it because I took the time to understand what was actually happening. Like when I was actually in some of these more difficult moments, I got my feelings hurt. I felt resentful. I felt like real world negative feelings that is a bit more than someone flying down and slapping me for like 2 minutes. But as an adult that wants to mature and constantly grow, like I looked at those things and I was like, this is not just me playing a video game with some strangers online. This was me trying to connect with other people in a genuine way and become friends and to share like a bit of my life with them because I'm spending this time with them and talking about the things I'm going through. I was actively going into this with the intentions of being my genuine self and wanting others to feel comfortable and be their genuine selves. But anytime you put yourself out there, there's a chance of it not going well. Just because that's the nature of life. Just because sometimes people's personalities don't mesh well. Sometimes there are people that only can stay acquaintances, and there are some people who you can deepen your friendships with them. And that I really had to sit down with myself and learn about, to wonder why in some situations something would happen, in other situations other things would happen. And I realized it's because everyone's different and you can't treat everyone exactly the same way because everyone has different needs and everyone has different like degrees of ability to provide whatever you need in return. And so again, I wouldn't say that was my worst experience, but it was the ones that impacted me the most in a personal way, through playing Final Fantasy XIV. And I wouldn't go back to change any of it because I like who I am right now. I like how much I've learned and grown from it, but it was a lot to handle at the time. But again, if you try your best to figure out who you are as a person and get resources and support from people who are actually respectful and resourceful and supportive, then I think you can make it through to like make the friends or connections you want to make or become the confident person that you want to be. Which, to close it out, is why I wanted to make these long guides, because through all the things I experienced through playing the game, I felt like what I really wanted was to have someone kind of be there and say, let me help you out, let me explain this to you, let me like help support you and say it's okay to take it slow, it's okay to take your time, it's okay if you need to take a break. Like I wish I had a mentor when I was playing the game instead of bumbling around the way I did. And so I wanted to try to give back in that way. I read about the mentor system and how most people don't like it. And, it took me a long time. Eventually I got into the mentor system and, I do the mentor roulette every now and then, but it's not exactly what I imagined it would be. And so by making these guides, making this entire YouTube channel, I feel like I'm becoming the person I wanted in my life, and that's my way of giving back. And so, yeah. my worst experiences in Final Fantasy XIV help shape me into becoming the person that I want to be. And so there's always like two sides to things. Great. I do have a bunch of drama stories, but I'm not gonna get into them because I don't want to just, talk shit all over the place. But maybe someday, very, very, very far into the future, when I get back into playing the game, possibly like during the next expansion, during mob pools or something, like I'll have a bunch of downtime and I'll reminisce about the dramas that I used to go through when playing and stuff. We'll see. Anyway, that's it. This is the end. I hope that you guys enjoyed the over 200 videos that I've made thus far. How much? 230 plus these ones I've made, however many that is. Not that these are real guides or anything, it's just me chit-chatting. Yeah, there's a lot of content, lots of hours put into it. I genuinely hope that everyone can have fun, take some time to just chill, enjoy themselves, learn something here and there, and can treat everybody with kindness and respect, all the good stuff, and especially treat yourself with all the good stuff too. Cedra. I'm not really a peppy cheerleader type person. I like to just have real talk. What else? Yeah, I think somebody somewhere mentioned something about wanting to know how I actually made the guides, like the behind the scenes of that. And quite frankly, I just record me doing the run. I pull up a wiki and put it on the side, and then I play the video footage, and I just go from there. It's all very organic, like I don't do that much prep work. This drawing in MS Paint is probably more behind the scenes that I have to show than anything else. I use OBS to record, and I made this cursor myself. Like I drew it in this cursor making thing, and so it's a little ghost. And my drawing software thing is just from baseline Windows photos, which they're updating to remove the photo thing, so I had to stop the update. And yeah, that I don't feel like there's actually that much I can show the behind the scenes for. I mean, I guess I could be like here like this opens up, right? Okay, wait, this is gonna be somewhat spoiler for the guildhest people. My bad. Okay, and so I use the drawing version, and I mean, you've seen me use this stuff. Like I could just draw stuff and then I can erase the stuff. That's it. It's very low key, and I needed it to be low key so that my ADHD would allow me I needed to find a way for my executive function to be able to function with all this stuff, and so I made it very simple. Like record the thing, pull a wiki up, open the thing, draw on it, click record on OBS, and then I upload it, and then I make the thumbnail, and then I upload it or attach it, and yeah. Okay, cool. I hope that was interesting. If you've watched all of the Q&A things and you've learned a bit more about me and my guides and about how to be a better person, and great. Okay, bye.